What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. These are my Draftkings MMA picks for UFC Paris. We have Cyril Gane going against Sergey Spivak.
I need all the wins, yeah. Harder than all that is. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out.
And we are back for another Draftkings MMA picks video. This week we are breaking down an 11-fight slate in UFC Paris. And yeah, I'll be honest, it's probably one of the weirder Draftkings slates of the year. And we've had some weird ones, but it doesn't get any more weirder than this. It's a card where we've lost some fights. It's a card where where there's supposed to be these fighters fighting different opponents. Their opponents pulled out, and they kind of just like changed the card around. So it makes for some pretty interesting DraftKings strategies here. But yeah, I can't wait to talk about it all. Before we get into it, if you guys can please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. If you do want extra content, or if you do want to support me more, be sure to check out dfsbythenumbers.com. There you'll find all my fighter stats, targets, projections, rankings, ownership projections, and so on and so forth. Tons of content on dfsbythenumbers.com. And then also be sure to check out Underdog Fantasy if you have not already. I'll be going and talking about my favorite underdog play this week. Use that promo code DFSBTN for a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. And then lastly, be on the lookout for the prize picks video as well. So yeah, with all that out of the way, I say we get into it. And we're going to start with these fight doesn't go to decision lines. Yeah, I think this is a card where I think I'm picking something ridiculous, like 7 decisions on this card. So I think it's probably on paper, at least for me, the least violent fight on the card. And out of these 4 fights, I do think 3 of them do finish inside the distance. We'll talk about the first one that I do think finishes, and that is going to be Volkan Oezdemir going against Bogdan Gustov. So Gustov's a guy that has been to decision once, and that was a long time ago at this point. I think it was like 7, maybe 8 years ago at this point, and that decision was only a 2-round fight. So he's been to the 3rd round supposedly once. He's never been over 2.5 rounds in his entire career. And yeah, I think somebody's probably getting finished here within a round and a half. Gustov's a guy with obviously a 100% finish rate. This is a guy that has a ton of power, but he does leave a lot of openings to be hit. He has not fought the best competition, so I'm more so on the Oezdemir side this week. But this is a guy in Gustov where if he wins, it's going to be in the 1st round, because I don't think he has the cardio to fight into the 2nd. So phenomenal to fight the target here. I think somebody gets finished, and somebody gets finished probably even in the 1st round in this one. Next we have Sergey Spivak going against Cyril Gane. Another fight where I do think this one finishes as well, and I think it probably could even finish early. I just think on the feet, it's going to be Cyril Gane all day, and then on the ground, it's going to be Sergey Spivak all day. I guess it's just going to come down to who's able to implement their game plan. Is Sergey Spivak able to close distance, get a hold of Gane, drag him down to the mat, and if he's able to get on top, I think he could finish there. But if Cyril Gane is able to use his footwork, his speed, able to stay on the outside and keep this at striking range, he's going to obviously destroy Sergey Spivak here. So yeah, I think it's a very good fight to target. I'm more so on the Spivak side for the price, for the grappling upside, but Cyril Gane's absolutely in play as well with that striking advantage. Next, we have Benoit Saint-Denis going against Thiago Moises. Minus 150 fight doesn't go. Actually, I think this fight could go the distance. Benoit Saint-Denis does have a 100% finish rate. But, I'm not sure he's going to go out there and submit Thiago Moises. I could see maybe Saint-Denis potentially knocking him out, but I think this fight actually could go 15 minutes. In terms of a DraftKings play, I think most of the upside is obviously with Benoit Saint-Denis. This guy's a very good DraftKings scorer. This is a guy that's probably going to have the volume, all the finishing equity here, because Benoit Saint-Denis, as we know, is as tough as they come, right? So I think he has takedown upside here as well. As far as Moises, I think he's a live dog. I think he could win this fight. I'm just not sure if he has the most upside in terms of a DraftKings score. Moises just very low volume, obviously an incredible BJJ black belt, but doesn't have the wrestling to get it down to the mat. So I think if anything, I'm looking at Saint-Denis in this one, from a DraftKings perspective at least. Next we have Charrier going against Zucchini. Yeah, Charrier is a solid play this week for me. This is a guy that's, I think it's a setup fight for him here. He's really well-rounded. He has power on the feet. He has good back takes and really good ground and pound as well. I actually think a Charrier finish is very much in play here But on the flip side with Zucchini, this is a guy that's, pretty dangerous in his own right. On paper, a 91% finish rate. But the problem with that is Charrier is like next level tough. Charrier has been finished only once in his career, and it was by submission a while ago. So I'm not sure Zucchini is going to go out there and finish somebody like Morgan Charrier, who's just next level tough. So give me Charrier here. 9,100. It's definitely steep, but I think he has some upside in this one. Let's move on to the record plays here. We have Jacqueline Cavalcanti. We have her at 9,400. She is the biggest favorite on the card, and she is the biggest favorite on DraftKings as well. So this fight was supposed to be at like bantamweight, and I remember just being like, there's no way that Zara Farron's going to come out here and make weight. And the next thing you know, it's at catchweight, and even at catchweight, I'm not sure Zara Farron's going to make weight, because there's been multiple catchweights where she's came in and missed weight. She was supposed to fight Josiane Nunez a couple years ago. It got set to a catchweight of 140. She weighed in at 147. There's another catchweight fight she had outside the UFC where she missed weight for it as well. So yeah, I mean, Zara Farron, she's 6-5, 0-3 in the UFC. I'm just not sure she belongs here. So Cavalcanti, she's actually pretty good. She's training with really good fighters like Tabitha Ricci, Sabina Mazo, fighters over in that gym. And I have a feeling she might try to get this down to the mat. And if she does, I mean, I think she makes it look easy. Zara Farron's ground game is atrocious. But even on the feet, I like Cavalcanti. So yeah, I like Cavalcanti here quite a bit. I think she's very live for a finish as well. And I think she could put up a big score here. Volkan Oezdemir, 8,600. We talked about him a little bit. So this, I was looking through Oezdemir's record, and this on paper is like the easiest matchup for Volkan Oezdemir in his UFC career. I mean, he made his debut against OSP back in 2017, back when OSP was, pretty dang good, right? So this is going to be the easiest matchup of his career. Does he go out there and win? I mean, he should, but, Guskov, like I said, he is very dangerous early. But, that's about it. He has a puncher's chance. Oezdemir is going to be the better fighter here. He's fought the much better competition. He has power in his own right. Guskov, I don't like his strike and defense. I don't like his chin. I think Oezdemir is very live to go out here and get a first-round finish himself. So I like Oezdemir, 8,600. But like I said earlier, I think somebody's probably getting served under 1.5 rounds. Sergey Spivak, 7,500. I love the price tag here. For me, personally, I know a lot of people don't think the same, but I think it's a 50-50 fight. I think either Sergey Spivak gets this fight down to the mat and exposes Gane's ground game once again, or Spivak doesn't get the fight down to the mat and Gane makes him look foolish and knocks him out. I think it goes one of two ways, but we're getting Spivak at 7,500, just way too cheap. Money's pouring in on him throughout the week. He's now plus 140 on the money line. I think that might even close up a little bit more as well. So yeah, somebody who can go out there, get takedowns, has really good ground and pound, a submission game against somebody in Gane who's just shown an atrocious ground game anytime somebody has been able to take him down or try to take him down. So yeah, I like Spivak here, but you definitely have to have some Gane as well, just in case Spivak does not get it down to the mat, because if he doesn't, Gane's going to style on him. And then Farid Basharat, 9,200. I feel like Basharat's probably one of the safer plays on the entire card. Basharat's a guy that has, good volume on the feet. He has good wrestling, good control, good grappling. He's going against Kletzen Rodriguez, who's coming up to bantamweight for the first time in his career because he can't make flyweight anymore. I think it's a pretty good spot for Basharat to go out there, mix in takedowns, rack up a ton of control time, and win a probably one-sided decision here. So don't mind me some Basharat for the takedown grappling upside in this one. Moving on to our GBP plays here, Morgan Charrier, we talked about him a little bit, 9,100. I think he has, takedown upside here. I think he has solid finish upside. We've seen that his opponent, Zucchini, go out there and get finished in 2 of his 3 losses. We've seen Zucchini taken down. We've seen him subbed. We've seen him knocked out. I think Charrier can really win this fight wherever it goes. I think on the feet, Charrier is the better striker. I think, Charrier is the better wrestler, the better grappler. And I think if he gets this fight, down to the mat, takes the back, gets on top, Charrier's ground and pound's no joke. So I think Charrier is very live for a finish in this one, and I don't mind him at 9,100. Then we got Angelusa, 8,800. I actually think this is a very good fight to target as a whole. Going against Reese McKee here, I just think it's one of those fights where these guys are just going to go to war. Both these guys have horrible striking defense. Angelusa, it's 49%. Reese McKee, it's like 42%. Both of these guys eat punches with their face. Both these guys throw a lot of volume as well. I think Angelusa also has takedown upside, considering Reese McKee has some of the worst takedown defense you'll ever see. So yeah, I don't mind Angelusa here, 8,800. Definitely a little pricey, but he's going to put up a ton of volume. I think he has most of the finish equity, and he has takedown upside as well. Benoit Saint-Denis, 8,500. We touched on him a little bit. This is a guy in Saint-Denis who I think has the majority of the finish equity. I mean, this guy is tough as nails. I don't see anybody probably ever finishing Benoit Saint-Denis. This guy's super, super tough, and he's dangerous. He's dangerous wherever the fight goes. On the feet, you know, he's not the most technical striker, but he throws with a ton of power. We saw Thiago Moises knocked out before. So, yeah, you know, Saint-Denis, you know, knockout wouldn't completely shock me, but I'm kind of more so leaning a decision, and I think Saint-Denis does have some takedown upside here as well. So I don't mind Saint-Denis as a DFS play, like 8,500. I think he has some upside here. And then Cyril Gane, 8,700. It all comes down if he can stuff these takedowns. It all comes down if he can keep this at range, he's going to just destroy Sergey Spivak. Like the striking between these two, it's not even close. It's night and day. Although Spivak has made some improvements in the striking, Cyril Gane's the much better striker, and it's not even close. I worry about the chin of Sergey Spivak. Spivak's a guy, like, when he's not able to implement his game plan, he folds, he quits, he looks for a way out. So, yeah, it all comes down to if Gane can stuff the takedowns. If he does, he pays off this price tag and more. If he doesn't stuff the takedowns, he's probably scoring anywhere from 0 to 5 points. So we'll have to see, but I think this main event's very important this week. Moving on to the Underdog Fantasy Play of the Week, and I'm taking Volkan Oezdemir. I'm taking the higher on the 0.5 finishes, which simply means if he finishes Guskov, it hits here. And I think he does. I think Oezdemir is the much better fighter, although I think Oezdemir is declining a little bit. This is going to be the easiest matchup of his UFC career. Guskov, he's dangerous. He has heavy hands, but, you know, Oezdemir's fought a lot of dangerous guys with heavy hands, a lot of really good guys, you know, guys like Magvan Ankalaev, guys like Jiri Prochazka. He's fought the who's who in the light heavyweight division. So Oezdemir's seen it all, and he's seen much better than Guskov, who I'm kind of getting fraud vibes from. So give me Oezdemir to go out there and finish Guskov this week. If you want to check out that play or you know, all the other plays, check out Underdog Fantasy. Use that promo code at DFS BTN for a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. Moving on to the live dogs, of course, we talked about Spivak already, but let's talk about Nora Cornell. 7,900 here. I think she has upside here. So Jocelyn Edwards, you know, she typically struggles with, you know, getting taken down, and once she gets taken down, she's staying there. And Cornell has shown some ability to go out there and get fights down to the mat, and she actually looks really good. The problem with Cornell is she's fought just the lowest of low competition. I mean, it's horrible, but, you know, Jocelyn Edwards, I was kind of looking through her record, and although she's fighting in the UFC, she's still fighting fighters like Yanan Wu, Ramona Pascual, Jessica Rose. I mean, it's not that great. So, you know, Nora Cornell, if she goes out there, I think she has, you know, takedown upside. Don't know if she finishes Edwards, but, you know, takedown upside, control at them upside, probably fairly low owned as well. And it's a card where I'm kind of struggling for dogs. And I don't hate her at 7,900 here. Bogdan Guskov, 7,600. Puncher's chance, first round knockout ups. Like, if he wins, it's a first round knockout, and he's on the optimal lineup. Although I don't think he's that great. What he does do very well is he hits very, very hard, and if he wins, he's going to put up 100-plus points. So he can't be ignored. I'm going to have a ton of this fight. I'm going to be obviously heavier on Oezdemir, but I think you have to have some Guskov as well, just in case he does touch the chin of Oezdemir early on. And then Reese McKee, 7,400. Don't mind some Reese McKee here. Like I said earlier, it's a fight that I expect to be a war. It's a fight where both guys can put up incredible volume. Thus far, Reese McKee in his fight against Alex Morono landed a ton of strikes throughout 15 minutes. Like, he can keep up a high volume pace. He has power. Reese McKee actually has a 100% finish rate as well, so maybe he will be the first one to finish Losa. I don't think so, but yeah, he's dangerous. He's a finisher. He has power. He has volume. And I think this fight could play out a lot closer than this line does indicate as well. So I don't mind some Reese McKee here at 7,400. And then finally, I mean, you guys can tell I'm struggling to find live dogs because I did put Rose here. I just have a weird feeling about this one. Like, all signs point, for me at least, to Manon Fiorot. Fiorot is going to be the bigger fighter, the stronger fighter. You're just going to have higher volume. But I just don't want to completely rule out, Rose Namajunas coming in here and pulling off the upset, because Rose Namajunas has fought the best competition at strawweight. Wins against Zhang Weili, multiple wins. Wins against fighters like Jessica Andrade. I mean, Rose Namajunas is a very, very high-level fighter. I don't like the fact that she's coming up a weight class, but if the best version of Rose Namajunas does show up, maybe she does surprise us here. And I can't get to Fiora at 8,900. I can't get to Fiora, who I don't see finishing Rose. I don't really see her taking down Rose consistently. So if anything, it is probably a dog or pass. Probably a pass in general, but Rose Namajunas, I think, could potentially be a dog that surprises some people, including me. And then punt play. Giannis Gamori here, 6,900. So this is one of the opponent changes. So Giannis Gamori, he was supposed to fight Loughran, and so they did the whole change opponent thing. So now Giannis Gamori is fighting William Gomi, and Gomi's a pretty big favorite. I want to say he's around like minus 220, 230, and I'm going to take some Gamori here just because, first of all, I don't think he's that great, but I also don't think William Gomi should be, minus 240 against anybody. William Gomi is a guy that just doesn't really do anything at all. I mean, he's very defensively sound, but that's because he just doesn't engage. So, what my thinking is Gamori is at least going to come in here and try to fight, whereas Gomi just looks like he fights to like not lose. I mean, it's weird with William Gomi. I think has some skill, but he's backing up. He's low volume. His wrestling grappling's okay, but it's just a price tag thing here. Gamori 6,900. I think he's live just due to the fact that Gomi literally does nothing. So I don't mind some shots on Gamori here. And then the fade is going to be on Kaylin Loughran, 9,500. Let me see here. I lost my notes here. So he's actually 9,300. So that did sound off. Anyway, even 9,300, it's too much. Loughran is a guy that is now the underdog going against Taylor Lapilus, and it's like you can't play Loughran at 9,300 when he's plus 140 on the money line. I am actually picking Lapilus to win this fight as well. So just another reason to fade Loughran there at 9,300. But there you have it. Weird slate. Very weird slate. 11-fight slate. Kind of a tough card for DraftKings just because there's not a ton of plays that stick out. There's some fights that are clearly fights you want to target, like the main event, that Oezdemir fight, maybe the Lusa McKee fight. But outside of that, I think there's going to be a lot of like low DraftKings scores for this week. So it should be interesting. Before we leave, you guys can please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. If you have not already, I'll be putting out content throughout the week. I already got my full card breakdown out, prize picks out, betting breakdown videos coming, and lots more. So be on the lookout for all of that. Best of luck, UFC Paris. We'll talk to you guys soon. See you.